Mike Anderson.
Good morning, Tampa Bay, 970 WFLA. Talking Fishing going to be here until 8 o'clock. Unfortunately, only until 8 o'clock. But good Lord willing, we will be here through then. Got the boss man in here this morning. We're waiting on our resident superhero, Reggie, to get here. So the boss man, Fingers Bell himself, behind the glass, making us roll here this morning. Got a really interesting guest this morning. We're going to talk a little bit about Tampa Bay cleanup. It's going to be pretty interesting. He is Captain Neil Holland. Good morning, Neil.
Good morning, Captain Mike. Glad to be here with you and the Real Animals Nation.
Appreciate you joining me. I know Saturday morning Real Animals Radio is a little early for people, so I appreciate you joining us. You can follow us. We're also Facebook Live at Facebook/Real Animals. If you want to join us there, you can bring your questions there as well. So let's talk. You were with Ocean Aid 360.
That's right, Mike.
Let's talk about what Ocean Aid is and what you guys got coming up. Let's kind of get our listeners up to speed quick on what Ocean Aid is.
Okay, glad to. So Ocean Aid 360 is a conservation nonprofit that's focused on Tampa Bay.
Okay.
And we are the recipients of a new grant from NOAA, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, which
Right.
we're all familiar with.
Sure.
They've got a program over there called the Marine Debris Program, and they make a couple of small grant awards each year
Okay.
to community-based nonprofits to do watershed cleanup projects.
Okay.
And these grant funds can go anywhere around the country. I mean, it could be Hawaii, California, Michigan, wherever it might be. But we're delighted to say that Ocean Aid 360, in conjunction with CCA Florida,
Yep.
has received this year's grant from
Nice.
the NOAA Marine Debris Program.
Okay.
And it's for a project that we designed with CCA called the Ghost Trap Rodeo Event Series.
I like the name. It's a
Yeah,
cool name.
yeah, it's cool, right?
Yeah.
And gonna kick off just in time for Halloween too.
The time is
But,
everything.
Yeah. So this event series, it's gonna be set up just like a sport fishing tournament, like you and I are very familiar with,
Yep.
and your listeners will be too, I think. But instead of weighing in redfish or mangoes or something like that, we're gonna be weighing in marine debris and ghost traps. We're specifically gonna be looking for those ghost traps, but we're also gonna be picking up other forms of marine debris while we're out there.
So just so people know, and make sure I'm on the right page here, when you're talking about ghost traps, we're talking about crab traps that are no longer, that have just been left behind.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Okay.
I mean, for a variety of reasons, crab traps, blue crab and stone crab traps will sometimes go missing, whether they break away during the course of a storm or get run over by a boat that's coming through the channel.
Sure.
Or they're put out by somebody.
You think those guys would actually put traps in the channels where boats are
Not the
running?
commercial guys. Not the commercial guys. They know better.
Right.
But guys who decide they're going to go out there for the season and give it a shot, you know, they buy their 5 traps or whatever, and maybe they're not too familiar with the process. I have to admit, I've been there myself, you know.
Some people, I think, put the traps out and then just forget where they put them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. You know, in the process of working on designing this project, I learned all kinds of things, like the fact that commercial stone crabbers actually weight their lines so that the lines don't kind of bow out into the current in such a way that a boat could come by and clip it. You know?
Sure.
I didn't know that they did that.
I didn't
you
either.
know?
Yeah.
So there are all kinds of tricks of the trade and everything that guys who are real familiar with the process will use. But when we have a named storm come by, like Hurricane Irma did, you have trap losses that are unavoidable.
Never
you
even
know?
thought of that, yeah.
So, especially in a year like this year, right after we have a big storm like that,
Yeah.
a project like this is a real benefit to our community, where so many of us are dependent upon the fishery and you know, for either commercial purposes or just for our pastime.
So do you have a mental, because you haven't started this yet, right? When is the first rodeo? There's going to be 6 rodeos in all,
Yeah,
correct? Okay.
yeah, that's right. The first one kicks off on October 27th at Fort DeSoto.
Okay.
We're going to be rendezvousing at the boat ramp. That's going to be our launch site. participants, which I'm calling wranglers, are gonna go out for a 4-hour search, and then they're gonna reconvene at the ramp again for a prize ceremony, and just kind of to get some apparel and all of that kind of stuff, and free refreshments provided by one of our local sponsors in St. Pete, the Left Bank Bistro.
Oh, nice.
So it's going to be a really neat event, and the prizes that we've compiled together with CCA and our project sponsors. I mean, we're not Old Salt's King of the Beach, level yet.
Nobody is.
Yeah, exactly.
Nobody's doing it any better than Old Salt.
But we estimate we're going to have just over $25,000 of retail value prizes to give away over the course of those 6 events, and I think that's a remarkable change in this type of conservation programming.
Sure.
Because in the past it was, come on out, we'll give you a sticker or whatever, And honestly, I think that one of the coolest parts about this project is the fact that whereas projects of the past, kind of have a look to them, the big floppy hats, the sandals with the knee-high socks, and the whole,
Audubon Society.
Right. And I love those guys. I don't have anything against that, but I wanted to do something that was like shallow water angler driven.
Sure.
To activate those guys that know the watershed intimately, and that love it, care about it, and know it. They've got the right boats to do it. They've got the right sunglasses to see it, and to activate those guys to get out and do something positive about the watershed after this year that we've all had.
Yeah, it's definitely been an interesting year, and I think, you mentioned Irma kind of spearheading and starting this whole thing. I think Irma had a lot to do with our red tide issues, especially with them being so severe. We've had some red tide the last couple of years, even before Irma, but Irma did her damage for sure. So on a guesstimation, obviously, because this is the first time you've done this.
That's right.
It says here in my notes you're aiming for 750 traps.
Yeah, it's a lofty goal, but we've got a approach that we're planning that we think is going to allow us to get up into that neighborhood.
Okay.
So as I mentioned, we're doing the 6 events, and we're hoping to have somewhere in the neighborhood of 25 boats come out and join us and participate with us, and we think that those guys and women, of course, who are very familiar with the watershed, we think they're going to be able to turn in some debris to us and some traps and everything.
Sure.
And those events are spaced 1 month apart from each other, between the end of October and the end of March.
Okay.
But in addition to those 6 one-day events, our OceanAid 360 team is going to be out on the water, and we're going to be searching on a daily basis.
Okay.
So we're going to be doing it continuously, and we're going to be employing everything from visual searching along the shorelines and everything, on when the tide drops out and that kind of stuff.
Sure. And
we're also going to be employing things like lobster sledding, like down in the Keys where you tow a sled, and that's how you snorkel in a mask, and you go down there with 2 snorkelers maybe, and you're searching for lobster. Well, we're going to be doing the same kind of technique, but instead of lobster, we're going to be looking for traps.
Interesting. And I think when people, I'm guilty of this just now this morning, in my brain, you said trap, I think float.
Right.
How hard can this be? We just drive around, we look for the floats, but we're not we're looking for the traps themselves.
Yeah.
And then it runs through my brain as many times as I've run shallow Tampa Bay, that you'll have a crab trap out there you didn't even know was there because it no longer has a float.
That's right.
Which turns it into a ghost trap.
Let's do a little experiment here. And when you think back over the places that you run on a regular basis, can you think of any place where you've seen the shadow of a ghost trap sitting down there?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Especially the guys like me that have towers.
Yeah, exactly.
I have a tower, so I'm up high.
Yep.
You see a lot of stuff. As a matter of fact, when you're running shallow, when you look over there and you see the ghost trap, you're like, whew, that's a good thing I'm not right there, because and I've had those end up, it was a long time ago, but I had one end up in my prop, and having to get into the water and untangle that wire trap out of your prop is not, it's not a lot of fun.
I ended up running over a line. There was no buoy, but I ran over a trap trap and line
Okay.
down in the Keys. I had the same experience
Yeah.
having to get in the water and deal with it.
I'll bet you a lot of our listeners have had that exact experience.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when I was working with the CCA team, Frank guided us over there, and Brian Gorski.
Yep, yep.
You know, I thought I talked to them about it, and I said, "Gosh, you know, I've been fishing this bay my whole life, and I've got all kinds of trout flats that I'll go out and drift, or you know, mangrove edges where I'll go up and plug for snook or whatever."
Sure.
And I've seen these traps. I said, I bet other guys like me
Absolutely.
have,
Yeah,
you
sure,
know, and they've got a head start. If they want to come out and win a great prize like a PowerPole, which we're going to be giving away,
Nice.
Engel Coolers, Costa Sunglasses, all of that, maybe they'll think to themselves, hey, I've got a head start. I know where 3 traps are. I know where 5 traps are right now. You
Yeah,
know,
that should be good.
I can go knock this thing out.
Yeah, you know, I think, and it resonates with me especially strong from the upper bay as well.
Yep.
From years of running up there, McKay Bay,
Yep.
and all that stuff out in front of the kitchen.
Yep,
From
yep.
Apollo Beach,
Yep.
just north of the Alphi there.
Yep.
There's long stretches of flats right there that are very popular for many, many years. They've been popular for, you know, crabbers.
Yeah.
So,
Well, one of the cool things is that we've got that event series that I referred to. We're actually going to be doing the 6 events spaced around Tampa Bay.
Sure.
So we're doing the first event at Fort DeSoto,
Yep.
the second event at Manatee River,
okay.
the third event is at Boca Ciega Bay, probably leaving
Nice.
out of Jungle Prada.
Yep.
The 4th event is at Little Manatee.
Okay.
5th event is at Wheaton, and the 6th event is up at Alafaya.
Williams Park.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
sure.
So we're spacing it out, and we want you know, all the men and women, the shallow water anglers around the bay to know that you know, we don't know everywhere.
Yeah.
I don't know every spot
Right.
like the back of my hand.
Sure.
So I want to get those guys that run out of Alafaya. I want to get those guys that run out of Cockroach and all of that to come out and help us, because they know the area better than we do.
No, it's a great thing. You know, it's interesting because I constantly hear. I'm a big advocate, as you know, for CCA.
Yeah.
And you constantly hear, what is CCA doing? What, you know, I don't hear what CCA is doing. I don't, you know.
Yeah.
Part of the problem is you're not a member.
Right.
You should be a member. Right. But the other thing is things like this. You know, now CCA working with the restocking program, trying to restock, you know, redfish and snook back into our waters after this terrible red tide. All this stuff. So, you know, just another example of things that CCA, you know, Brian Gorski, Captain Lisa Fitzgerald, things they're involved in that everybody wonders what their membership money goes to. These are the types of things that, you know, the broad brush strokes of CCA, which I think is really important. But man, it sounds like a great program. I'm excited to kind of talk about this as we roll through the morning here. Phone lines are open if you've got questions, comments, fishing reports. Maybe you've got something for my new friend here, Captain Neil Holland, who is going to be doing this Ghost Trap Rodeo series. He is again with Ocean Aid 360. Is there a website for Ocean Aid 360?
Yeah, there sure is, and we have a registration page for the event at that site. It's oceanaid360.org.
Okay.
Couldn't be easier.
No, that's pretty easy. Perfect. Easy is good because I fish for a living, so I need I need easy. But if you've got questions, comments, fishing reports here this morning, we're going to get a quick break here, get you caught up on the world of news. You can touch base with us this morning. Hillsborough 990, Pinellas is 461. They both end in 9352. Toll free anywhere you can hear our voices, 1-800-969-9352. Again, Captain Neil Holland joining me in studio this morning. Questions, comments, fishing reports, bring them right here. We'll be back, 970 WFLA.